Going live in 3, 2, 1. Hey, we're live. Thanks for checking out another one of my videos. It's been a month, I guess, since I've done an update on the JavaScript desktop environment project, daedalOS, as I'm calling it, daedalOS. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but it's not so bad. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because, like I said, it's been a month, and I've done a lot of commits, a lot of changes, lots happened in the project as it's kind of continuing to move forward, and I just wanted to kind of show everybody what I've done. So I've got a little list here, and let's just jump right in. Let's not take too much time. I wanted to kind of get right to it. So go into the browser here. So this is just the repository, just to kind of get everyone familiar with it. Like I said, daedalOS. Proud to say we're almost at 5,000 stars. It kind of rounds up to 5K here, but if we go into the deets, 4993, that's not bad. We're close. So we're about seven away, which is pretty cool. So that's a milestone in itself. But yeah, if you look at the project here, I'm doing commits all the time. The last video I did was, I think, like March 28th or something like that. So what are we in now? Today's May 9th. Basically over a month since I did a video a month ago that's not related to daedalOS necessarily, but I've been coding it the entire time. So we've got over a month worth of commits to kind of catch up on, and I'm not going to bore everyone with the details necessarily. I've just kind of written down some of the top features, and I wanted to show you guys, show everybody, show you guys, girls, anyone who wants to check it out, you know. But for posterity's sake, probably aliens of the future, robots, AI, anything like that. Hello. Please bring me back to life if it's in the far future and I no longer exist. Take these videos and turn it into some kind of simulacrum. So that's actually another idea. That's for another day, but I have another project idea for this. It started as the idea of like, okay, I gotta copy Cortana too to have like a smart assistant. But then I was thinking, what if this smart assistant was like more like me? Like instead of a Cortana, I based it on me. And then I was thinking, okay, let's how far could you take this? I mean, I could do like the signature part. There's an AI to do signatures. There's an AI for voice. There's an AI for speech recognition. Seeing this things like this DALL-E 2, like how you could say I want it in this style of art. If you've seen this AI that can do different styles of art, I almost wonder if I could do something like that for different AIs to like do this in the style of Dustin, do this in the style of Dustin, and I just train it with my life essentially, and then build it up. And that's another episode, but that'd be another fun piece to the puzzle kind of this app. So yeah, long story long, let's dive in. So what's the first one on my list? Here's a cool one. So basically before we already had extraction of files. We had like zips, and we were using libarchive before. Let me just look up libarchive, because we're no longer using libarchive, I'm sorry to say to libarchive people, but I'm no longer using this library, which was pretty popular. Is this the one? Actually, yeah, I think this is the WASM one. Or was this WASM? Oh yeah, it was WebAssembly. Okay. But what did they support? So they supported 7-zip, RAR, a couple things, some cool stuff, tar files. But what I've switched to now is called 7Z WASM. And this is essentially literally the 7-zip executable in WebAssembly form. So I feel like this is a misspelling here. There's an executable called 7ZA. I couldn't find 7ZZ, but anyways, the WASM file pretty much responds exactly as I expected. So this is 7-zip version 21 from pretty recent. So basically now I have essentially 7-zip installed on my website for anyone to extract anything that 7-zip supports. And if we go into, I'm trying to remember in the code how many things it supports now. It's off the hook, man. What is it here? Let me do cab. I know it supports cab files. Here we go. Here's the list. Is it this one here? No, I got so many lists of extensions. Oh yeah, extractable extensions. Before this list was like 5. Now, as you can see, I support a lot. ACE files, APK. I can even extract executable files, which is kind of cool. So many. Basically everything. And to show a demo of that, let's go to, what's a good demo? I'm trying to think of a good demo. Well, this gets into the whole executable thing, and this gets into another feature. So let's go to Notepad++. I've already demoed this before, the fact that I have browser, what's it called, Boxed Wine in my app. So let's get the portable 7-zip version. Oh wait, I need the 32-bit version. And we'll drag that in here. Was that the right one? Yes. So we have a 7-zip file. So if I right-click it, you see right away I can do extract here, and that works. But that's, so you can even see here it spits out in the console log that it's literally running 7-zip, which is kind of cool. And it knows the type as well. So if I had another format like cab files, well, let's get into, I wanted to do the executable. So we'll get into the executable example. And I wanted to show you another feature here. So before I even open this folder, let's go in, let's just, wait, I have to open the folder. Okay, so let's just show you the folder. Drum roll, open this. And if we scroll down, boom, you see that? So what happened there is that's a .exe file, but I've also added a feature now that it's going to extract the icons for exes. So any exe, any random arbitrary exe that you put into my OS, oh, I bumped my mic out of being so excited, will now have a real icon that actually, it goes into the binary file and extracts out the icon and then displays it there. So that's pretty cool. So not only that, but you can also like double click it. I mean, notepad.exe is a bad example because it needs some of these files. So what we'll do now is now that I've shown you that, okay, cool, that happens, we'll zip this back up, and I guess I could show you the boxed wine example again. So boxed wine, I could open it here with boxed wine, and this will essentially open Notepad++. Oh, I've also added the boxed wine, so it's good that I'm showing this. So now it actually shows the console as well. So you see here, this used to happen in the console. Now I've moved this into the actual app. So people using the app can see, oh, okay, something's happening. It's working on it still. Before it was kind of just like a black screen where it's like, I guess I'm waiting for it. So now, I mean, it's still a little bit gibberishy, but this is just what we have to work with here with Boxed Wine, which is, it's an amazing app anyways. I don't want to diss it. But, I mean, it's not performant. It's not optimized, I would say, for the web. Anyways, there we go. So there's Notepad++. I downloaded it as a 7-zip. I extracted it as a 7-zip, put it back in as a zip, opened it. All of this just in a browser that's client-side. None of that was on the server or anything. So that's one cool feature. That's two cool features, I guess. I guess there was another piece to this that I didn't even, that was kind of not noticed there. If we go back to download it again here as an example, just as a, let me show you here. We'll extract it again. And this gets into another feature that's lazy loaded icons. So when we first open it here, it actually hasn't it hasn't made the binary yet. So as a performance optimization, before I was just loading everything for all the icons, but now it's based on looking at the viewport and whatever the DOM function is for doing that I can't remember right now. Some kind of observer type thing. Intersection observer, that might be it. Anyways, so we scroll down and you'll see, okay, well that actually might have happened because that might have been, oh yeah, this actually was right at the edge, so that might have been intersecting. Probably a bad example then. But anyways, that's another cool feature. I guess I can't, let me show it another way. Let me go into my pictures here and pick a folder that has more than a couple. I don't even know. I have no idea. Oh, this is another thing. I guess it doesn't cancel the loading of thumbnails. That's another cool feature to have. So if I open, oh man, I don't know any folders that I have that have lots of pictures in them now. No, none of them. None of them. All right, well, I can't show lazy loading icons because I can't think of any good examples, but you can just imagine that one. Another one that I guess isn't so much that I can show something about, but Safari, Firefox, mobile, I've done a lot of fixes for, and that's thanks to Browser Stack. If people know about Browser Stack, I don't work for them or anything, and they don't legitimately sponsor me, but they have a thing where you can kind of say, there's like an app page somewhere where it's like Browser Stack supports open source. Let me see if I can find it. Open source. We love open source, yeah. So I basically just submitted my project to daedalOS and was able to get a lifetime use of Browser Stack, and it's been great because it was allowed me to run Safari, Android, all sorts of real devices, and look at the console and like locally running it, but having it show my code remotely. Very handy, anyways. So that's thanks to Browser Stack for that. Also performance improvements. I've made some real performance improvements that I could kind of go into some detail on. And I can also we could do a speed test to see what we kind of get there. So one concrete example, if we look in the head here. So I have link prefetching, which is already kind of a performance optimization. I kind of, when I build the files, I scan the desktop ahead of time to know, okay, these are the icons that will be on the desktop. I'm going to put these in the top of the head to get prefetching. So it loads those icons. And now I've also added fetch priority of high. That's something new that's only been usable really in Chrome 101. But it's another cool feature, so it's something to think about. And it's been working pretty good. I've also switched to WebP format as the default instead of using PNGs. But it will fall back to PNG. There is a little quick auto detect at the start, if need be. What other kind of optimizations have I done? It's hard to remember a lot of them offhand. Those are the two big ones, like WebP, fetch priority, but I've done a lot of little ones. Another cool feature is I've added this emulator called Bayou. I think it's pronounced Bayou. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Byuu. And if I can go to their GitHub, they're in my credits list somewhere. Interestingly, it's like not well known about. Like it's got 7 stars, but it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's basically a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis emulator, all in one. So for that reason alone, I was like, all right, let's get it. And I have a demo of a ROM that's actually completely open. 2 of these are. This is a Nintendo one, Alter Ego, and this is like a homebrew one. So this is it running Nintendo NES. And if I hover over it, it tells me in the tooltip the controls. It's a native tooltip, so it's not showing on my streaming software. So there we go. So we can play this like Alter Ego game. No idea how to play it. Anyways, that was Nintendo. And then this is a Super Nintendo one called Classic Kong. It's another interesting one. Another homebrew. I don't have a Sega Genesis homebrew right now. I need to add a Sega Genesis one just as a proof of concept. But it also supports Sega Genesis, so if you happen to have one of those ROMs, you can just drag it in and play your own ROMs in there. You don't have to play mine. And like all this is movable. You can download these. You can turn this into an archive. Whatever you want to do, you know? So that's another little example. What's another neat one I got? Annie support. This is a weird one. I'll show you. I know a way to get to it. So if we go into my Winamp skins and I extract this skin here, these are zip files basically. Oh, I forgot to do the extraction example of the executable. That was what I was going to do. Let's go back to Notepad and just finish off that demo then. So yeah, we get the portable zip. We move it over here. We extract it. And the step that I missed is that I can actually extract the executable. So let's take the executable, put it over here, and then extract it. So I can actually extract an executable file into something. Now what? I don't know. I didn't actually do this ahead of time. There might not actually be any... Oh, there we go. I did something. What do we got here? So there's actual resource data. So it actually legitimately extracted like the resource data, like the icons. Yeah, I'm not sure if these can function as icons. What if I just add .ico to the end of it? Is that going to work? Did it? Did it go to the bottom? No, it has no idea what to do with that. Okay. Well, I mean, I've worked with these resource files now, so I know there's a little bit more to it. Actually, that also means it could be a PNG now that I think about it. Like I say, I've worked with these resource files. Sometimes they're PNGs. Oh, did my rename not work there? Interesting. It's always fun when you just try to do stuff and you forget this isn't Windows and this is a website. And then it glitches on you. Like, why is it doing this now? What did I do? I think it's because that rename failed. That might be something to look into. What about my PNG? I wanted to see if that PNG thing worked. Did it? It didn't let me do it. Let's put it out here so it's less going nuts on me. PNG. Was it a PNG? Whatever. No, it wasn't. Okay. Anyways, it extracted it. I'm not saying the data's all going to be useful. This is information. This one's... Oh, this is also useless. All right, is there any useful data that it extracted, at least? Certificate, what's this got in it? Yeah, I mean, that's not complete gibberish, I guess. Notepad++. Maybe this is just the data that's in the resource file. It's cool anyway, so you can basically extract anything now. Back to the other one I was doing, which was the Annie support. Right, so the Winamp skin has these, so there's .cur files, these cursor files, and there's also .ani files, these... I'm calling them Annie files, animated files anyways. I happen to know that there's some in here. So as you can see now, these are being supported now. Actually, these are .cursor files. Well, actually, this is where originally the problem started, is I found that this Winamp skin was using .cursor file extension, but these were actually Annie files. So now I actually found a way to support ANI files, and then I also found a way to support these cursor files that are actually named improperly. So if you open it, it should be an animated one. I think it's animated. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, you can see here, it's a little animated. So that's a very minor one. So I managed to pick the worst possible example, I guess. What about this one here? Okay, that's a little more obvious that it's animated. So as you can see, it's animating there. But .cur files don't animate. So the person took a .ani file and named it .cur. I don't know why. Maybe when this skin was made ages ago, maybe that made sense, but... So we support Annie files now. That's another cool thing. What's next? Spreadsheet conversion. Right. Do I have any, like, a demo spreadsheet file? I forgot to get demo files. That would have been good. I wrote exactly down what to demo, but not to have the demo files. So let's just get abused by some ads here. Just give me a... It's not hard to make a CSV file too. That's what's disappointing is when you want a demo, when you want something fast on the internet, you want it to just work, and that's when you can't find the file you're looking for. Just give me a... Here we go. Okay. No. Just... Okay, I think it actually worked at least. So we got an XLS file, so let's put this in here. I didn't even know what format it was going to be, but let's just hope it works. I right-click. There we go. Convert to. So I can convert. So first, let's see what it looks like here. If we open it in Monaco, so it looks like gibberish. The XLS files is not a format that you can just read plain text. But if we convert it to CSV, let's say, and the other formats I support here, numbers, ODS, XLSX. So let's say CSV. I know that's plain text. So now it converted it. Now when we open it in Monaco, let's say, now, yeah, there we go. Now we can actually see the text. So now it's a CSV format. I don't have a spreadsheet viewer yet, but this is a cool first step. This was started because my wife actually sent me a .numbers file from her iPad, and I had no idea what a numbers file was. And it wasn't easy to I typed on the internet like numbers to CSV or some kind of convert file, and it wasn't instant that I found something. But now it's built into my app. So you go to my website or you happen to have this in your own instance and you just drag it in and right click convert right away. Boom. What's next? I support SVG files. Yeah. So this was kind of weird where it wasn't working for icons properly and it wasn't working in the picture viewer. Let me just get a demo SVG file then. I literally have so few demo files prepared. This can't be this hard. Rectangle. Well, if it's CSV, I'll take it. Is it? No, it's not. Okay. I need like a site that just has every demo file in the world. Here we go. This is a SVG file. Oh, this is a cool one. So we save it. That looks complicated. Let this just fail because it's so complicated. So in Windows, this actually doesn't work. In Windows, you just see like, at least in my version of Windows, I do not see a thumbnail for SVG files. But on ours, if we drag it in, there we go. A cool little thumbnail. And the way that I did that in the end, I think was like some kind of weird URL. What is it here? Well, it already got cached, so it's using my cached icon. But basically, you can convert an SVG to a data URL in a very simple manner where you don't have to do any kind of... It's like plain text, but you just have to add the tiniest little bit to the start. And yeah, now it works in picture viewer too, so that's cool. So now it can view SVGs, and I don't know how far it can zoom in. This is an SVG. I guess it zooms in as far as... I told 700 to be maximum, but that's kind of cool. I guess I could just go on for almost ever. I could go live in that D almost if I could zoom in more. What's next? This is a cool one that I just finished. Let me take a sip of my Coke. Not sponsored either. So this is another one that's going to blow some people's minds, maybe. I don't know. So, you know the Windows key R button, you open up the run dialog. Or if you right click on the start button and you see run. Oh, we see run. I'm not going to press run, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Shift R. Shift R. Boom. Does that look familiar? I hope I got it similar. So this is essentially the run dialog, just like the one in Windows. Type the name of a program, folder, document, or internet resource, and daedalOS will open it for you. I don't think I have anything yet for internet resource that can actually work, but everything else pretty much. And you can also drag in. So let's say we drag this icon right onto here. That'll open. That's the Doom URL, and I can just say okay. It'll open Doom right away. Well, I say right away, but it took a moment, unfortunately. Okay, let me open again, Shift R here again. Now let's say I wanted to open that shortcut and I want to look at it in text version. So I could say Monaco editor. Now I drag in the shortcut. Oops, drag it in and press OK. And there we go. Now it opened in Monaco. And now I can kind of see the contents of it. So that's kind of another neat little thing. Or I could have done open with. Actually, yeah, there was not even an open with for that. I can do open with to open the folder, but I don't actually have a default way to open shortcuts in a text editor. So that's another neat way to do it. Another way you could always do it is you can just open up Monaco and drag something in. Then you can kind of see it that way. But this is another cool way. And as you can see here, these exe icons did not get detected. That's because these are not the kind of Windows icons that have a .ico file. So that's the reason. Oh, I just noticed the messages here. Sorry for my slowness on the live chat. I'll read these top to bottom here. Retro A says, will you make framework for making custom apps in your daedalOS? Definitely, I have a plan for that. I'm hoping to have a way where I can do it where maybe even old or like existing stuff can work. so that people don't even have to learn a new framework, as if I can just take arbitrary GitHub repos or npm packages and just essentially load them in. And maybe at the maximum, you would have to have some kind of translation script where you say, okay, for this package to daedalOS, connect these things. You know, this needs a canvas. Okay, here you're going to give the canvas. So there still might be a little connector app or function. But yeah, hopefully I'll have something like that so that people that already have existing repos of other random apps can maybe start something up simple. But nothing planned at the moment and nothing really in the works. So if anybody has any ideas, be into it. Got a message here from Abrar22. Do Tomb Raider DOS edition. Right. Hey, Abrar, by the way. Abrar is a very solid fan. I see him in all the chats, and you always got a different game for me. I wish I don't put in a lot of these games. We talked about this before, but the thing about it is, I mean, I could add Tomb Raider DOS edition. The thing is, I try to keep it shareware, and by that I mean I want to keep as far away from any kind of licensing infringement issues as possible, because I'm just trying to have fun with this project. I'm not trying to make money off it per se. That being said, I think Tomb Raider DOS edition, there might be a shareware version, so I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna copy and paste that right to my notes right now, you know, because that sounds like a fun one. I've actually never played it, so I'll consider it though anyways. And like I like to say, if you download the Tomb Raider DOS version, you can just drag it on my website and play it. So me doing it is basically just me putting it on a server somewhere and being a host for it. But it's something that the app can already support. It can support any DOS game, basically. Almost any, you know. What's next on my list? So the run dialog does some cool stuff. So here's another cool one. This is another visually fun one. So first off, now when you right click here, we have a live wallpaper option. So I can pick the Vanta Waves wallpaper, which we can see here in the worker threads is running wallpaper Vanta Waves. But we can also now switch to another one that I've found called Hexelis. And this is a pretty cool one. This is from the guy who did the Deep Dream, the Google Deep Dream. So some of these textures are almost like I want it to be like as if the computer's imagining it, you know, like the dreams of what is it, the Electric Sheep dreams, you know. There's an app actually called Electric Sheep that's kind of has these cool visuals. And this Deep Dream guy, I don't have his name off the top of my head, is really into this kind of stuff too. And he made an app like this. He made a website. And I've taken this and turned it into a wallpaper, basically. So every 30 seconds, it switches to one of the models of these textures. And the textures kind of are interactive. I don't have it set to interactive because the way that I have the wallpaper set up is a worker. Here, as you can see now, Hexelis worker. But it's a really cool wallpaper. I mean, I think I'll keep it on for the rest of the thing. It's a little rough on the contrast. It's a little hard to see the eye context, that kind of thing. But that's kind of a live wallpaper thing that just happens. I mean, I can always switch back to Vanta and we get a lot better contrast. And I've considered switching the contrast for Hexelis, but I just haven't done it yet. So I'm happy with it like this. It's kind of fun. What's next? So support M3U8 files. Is this true? Yes, I believe so. So apparently I already supported these basically. Because the video player, Video.js that I was using already had this. Let's see, is there any good examples? Is this one? I don't even know. If it works, it works. There we go. So this is an M3U8 stream, which is like a video file. So if I open this, and no, it didn't work for some possibly legitimate reason. Possibly that was just a bad one. Again, I'm not good with examples in this case. I really should have had some examples set up. Let's try one more. That's another bad example. This is going to be the one. I've got a good feeling about this link here. First, it's going to download. Boom. Nope. Okay. Never mind my good feeling. Next, actually going back to the videos now, there's something I wanted to show you, and for that I'm going to reset the wallpaper back to Vanta for a sec, just to get better contrast. So here's a cool one I've added. So we're familiar before, if we drag a video on and we see, boom, there's the thumbnail. But if you wait a second, drum roll, oh, what's happening there? And now it's animated. And if you refresh, it stays animated. It's cached it. So now we have in the videos, all the thumbnails will be animated for when you load them on, which is kind of another cool thing, I thought. And you can just double click it and play it too. It's just the bunny video. So that's another cool one. Next one here. This one's totally unnecessary, but I thought it was kind of cool. is I've added NTP time support, which basically means that if you want, you can sync the time on the daedalOS to be based on a server time. So as you can see right now, it's 10:55:19 on my clock. Now this is currently set on my local time. You can see I got local time and server time. And I can't guarantee it's going to visually switch at all because my local computer is pretty well synced. But let's try. So we're going to switch to server time. And yeah, I think it took like it took over a second to switch from that 34th second. So I think that might have been syncing back a little bit and staying on the 34th second a little longer. So, and we can now see that it contacted a request here to the, what is this? use.ntpjs.org. And this was just a cool website I found that had a whole NTP service that they were offering to do legitimately this exact thing, basically. Well, finding a legit version of their site's not easy. Okay. Geez, I can't... anything I want to demo here as far as just checking out stuff is... Here we go. Here we go. So NTPJS, correct time for your web apps. Well, I like correct time. So basically now it's server synced, and you could refresh and come back to this, and whenever you load the page, it's going to sync back up to the server here. And when it gets a response from the server here, it's got this back off timer, and I'm properly kind of doing the NTP requests on the interval that the server requests. And you can see here it gives you the time back, and I do the math based on how I saw that their library was doing the math. So yeah, it's a little bit more accurate time. If you happen to have a local computer that's not synced and you switch to server time, you might realize just how off your computer is, perhaps. So could be useful for that. But for now, I'll just switch back to local time, and then we don't rely on the server anymore. Another thing, this one's just a removal. If you see there's no more IRC in here, I've gotten rid of IRC. It was working as a proof of concept for login, but I was just missing too much. I wasn't happy with it. Like, I saw a few people that opened it. Just in like a review I read where they're like, oh, it's got IRC. And I was like, oh, it doesn't even have IRC barely. It's like so poorly done. So I decided, let's get rid of it. What's next? Anything else worth mentioning? This is a minor one, but for PDFs now, if you open them here, you see how when I open this, it opens at 100%. But if I were to shrink the window, or let's say someone had a smaller viewport, and then they opened it, it'll actually start at the smaller zoom level. So that's minor, but I thought it actually wasn't arbitrary to kind of get that correct, just because of the way pdf.js works. Map drive. So on right-click menu here, I now have map directory where we can map a local folder. I already had this actually, but now I have it on the my PC icon as well, because that's more consistent with how it is in Windows. So you see here now I've got mapped my actual local drive. Interestingly, it didn't get the shortcut for that. I would have thought it would have. Oh, there, now it did. That might be that lazy loading issue I was having. I was expecting a thumbnail there and I didn't get it, so that's always good. I usually find the best bugs when I'm demoing stuff, so although that was pretty minor to be honest. What's next? So yeah, another right-click menu thing that I thought was kind of cool. Let's switch back to Hexelis. It's fun. So another one is if I right-click here in the context menu, I've also added inspect, and I thought this was kind of fun because like on a normal website, when you right-click, oh, you can't see the context menu in the stream. Well, there's an inspect button right at the bottom. So I decided to emulate that and kind of get a mixture of Windows 10 plus the browser. So like this part kind of emulates how Windows 10 is minus the live wallpaper piece. And then the inspect is to kind of pretend to be like you're on a website. So when you click it though, it actually opens up the DevTools, the Eruda DevTools app. So that's kind of neat because it's kind of similar to when you open and you get the elements thing. So typically if it was a normal website where I wasn't stealing your context menu, when you press inspect, it would go to this. But on mine, it goes to this basically, which is like a similar version of it. Another cool thing, and this is actually quite interactive to be honest. I'm not sure how far you can go with this one. Can you delete stuff? No, it has more limits in that way. Yeah, it's still kind of fun. And there's some other cool things with this. Like it shows the source code for the page, rendered pretty, which is nice because mine's very minified, and some cool network resources. So like, let's say if we do switch over to server time, we interestingly don't see it. Maybe because that request happens in a worker and this app's not able to grab that. That's fair. Yeah, that's probably what happened there. That's okay. What's next? Well, that's almost it, honestly. There was one other thing, I guess. One other somewhat minor. But now let's say if you go to stream notes here and you open one of the old stream notes, you can see here those network requests are working now, by the way. So you open up a stream notes here. Before, when you click this, it would go to the YouTube. So now when you click it, I actually have it open the app, so you can actually continue to stay in the app even further, just to stay in the daedalOS as long as possible, basically. So I thought that was kind of neat. And yeah, that's actually the main changes, honestly. I'm trying to see if I had anything else in my list. No, I guess not. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, so hopefully you liked all these cool new features that I've added and just in general about the project. If you like this video or like the other videos or like the project, feel free to throw likes in those directions at the video, the project, whatever you want to do. If you want to support me, motivate me, that kind of thing, feel free to subscribe. That always kind of helps, and then you get the latest news, that kind of thing. And yeah, feel free to throw some comments on other features you'd like to see, other things you thought about this video, and if you want me to do some smaller videos on little pieces of new features or old features and kind of dive into them, I'd love to do it. So feel free to throw some comments in there. That'd be great. And yeah, let's just finish it at that. So thank you very much, and see you at the next one. Okay, bye.